All right, and we are recording. So today what we are gonna do is our spooky tree. Can you see from over there? Yeah. Can you see what I'm doing from over there? Okay. All right, so you're gonna have a brown piece of paper, a white piece of paper, watercolor paints, scissors, brush, water. You can use washable markers, but they have to be washable markers. And then I can't remember if I mentioned it, brown paper, but we'll put that off to the side for right now. All right, so for our spooky tree, we have washable markers to start with. So what we're doing first, or we're doing the top. You have a question already.
Are they all washable markers?
Not all of them. I'll pick out the ones that are washable. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do the top of the tree first. Now, it doesn't have to be spooky, so you don't need to worry about it being spooky. But what we are gonna do is washable marker. All right, I'm gonna start with some fun fall colors. I wonder if this one will even work, actually. I'm doing circles. If you decide you wanna do something else, you can, but I'm starting with, of course it doesn't work. You know what they say in art school? If you wanna look foolish, try to demonstrate how to do something. It's a guaranteed way to look foolish. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna do a circle here, a circle here, and I'm working with my paper horizontally. I'm gonna do a circle here. So you get the point. You're just making a series of circles. And this is a little too small a tree because my hand would cover that. So I'm gonna make sure to put some extra leaves out here. And you'll see what I mean by that in a moment.
Looks like broccoli.
Looks like broccoli.
Or a bunch of grapes.
So there's that. Now with washable markers, all I have to do is add a couple of lines. And then when I use a paintbrush, which this is not a great paintbrush, use the extra paintbrush you have in your kits. I'll wet this and I'll add this. You can scoot over if you need to see. So what's happening to that is it is starting to spread that color out and it's no longer looking just like a stripe, okay? Now, what if I put some other fun colors in there? What if I did some purple spots? What if I did a couple of yellow out of color? Let's see, yellows. Do a yellow. Oh, that almost looks orange, doesn't it? Black. I'm not using black. Black will just push everything else away. Take over the whole picture. All right, so it's looking more like an abstract version of a tree, but then when I come in with my paintbrush and I add water to it, so if you add water and it all mixes together, you make it kind of muddy. But if you add to the light color first, and you add that, and then you add water to the purple and let it mold out, or whatever color you have that's bold. You let that dry and then you go to another section. Maybe you let your green kind of start to blend in. Maybe I'll do this green here. This is more of an experimental, have fun with it, and less about it being perfect, okay? So you're basically just having fun with it. Now, maybe you're like, I don't have markers at home for our friends who are at home, or you're just like, I really love the colors in my watercolor kit. You can certainly do that as well. And what I would suggest doing is adding a couple of spots of color at the end to give you impact. So since these are not wet yet, I want you to try to stay away from black in the really dark colors, because you're gonna want this to stand out a little bit more, okay? So we're gonna do...
Is that yellow?
It's a orangish yellow. It might dry darker than it looks when it's wet. Okay, and you guys have better brushes, which is why I wanted you guys to have nicer brushes. So then look, I come along and I'm touching that watercolor marker, and it starts to bleed right into that tree. Okay. And now I'm gonna do a couple of dots of red. Let's get some paint into that. And then I'm like, and I wait a little bit, and then I can come back in. It's really wet right now. It's not a great time to do it, but I can come back in and add water. And then maybe I can even move this around a little to create some molding. So I want you guys to have fun with this. So once this part is done and it's all dried up, don't cut it while it's wet. You're gonna come in and you're gonna cut around the edges. All right, all the way around the edges. My class friends are gonna wait. They're gonna put this on the drying rack, and then we're gonna move on to our other part of the piece, which is doing the branches. The branches in the trunk are as simple as your hand, which is why I have you guys have a Sharpie out. You guys at home can use a Sharpie. You can use a, make sure that's straight. Anything you can. So my hand is obviously big, so you could spread your hand out as you like. I just decided to do that because I'm not very...
You're very good at drawing hands.
It's a little goofy. My pinky ended up being as long as the rest of my hands. All right, so now we'll do it the right way, so you can see the difference. Oh, that's not drawing.
Sharpies are better.
Sharpies are better. Everything's better with a Sharpie in hand. All right, and you can spread your hand out if you decide you want to. Oh, I'm giving myself nice big chubby fingers. Nice big chubby fingers. And chubby branches from my spooky tree. All right. You may end up getting marks on your hands, you may not. It doesn't. So, this is blue. Now, who here has, you've got your oil pastels. You do not have to bring, my class doesn't have to bring those out today. But, with your oil pastels, now you could do this two ways. You could draw with a Sharpie. You could draw your little branches. Okay, this is starting to look like bark. So I'm creating my little bark design on here. Or if you decide you want to be a little bit more bold with your color, you can use some of the oil pastels that you have at home. And you can come through here and you can do patterns.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
You can do patterns like this, right? Or irregular shapes that kind of create different patterns.
But we will not be using the oil pastels today.
You guys in class can use oil pastels if you want, but we're gonna see if you can get your painting part done today.
Okay.
So once you're done with your design, and just for time's sake, I'm gonna finish this out. You can do all sorts of things. You know, you've got like your little bark design. This is normally what makes a tree look really scary, are all the knots in there and the gnarliness of it. So you do all of that, and then you cut this whole thing out. What happened to my scissors? You cut all of that out, and you get...
Yeah, I was wondering.
It's like cut. And then final project is a tree. So you'll glue your hand once you have it all cut out. You'll glue your hand down, and you'll have your tree behind, and you'll have your spooky autumn tree.
So you
All right.
put the leaves on top?
If you put the leaves on top, it would be like this, and you won't see your branches. If you decide you want to do that, that is totally fine. But part of the fun is that you've got your branches out there. It is your choice, artist's choice. Okay? All right, those at home, write me if you have a question. Thank you.